Hi, I'm Ariel. You're watching She Wants the Diction, and today I'm going to be doing a thrifted book haul. So I am really excited to show you guys what I got today. Last weekend, me and my boyfriend drove up to Joplin, which is about an hour away from where we live, and just did some thrifting around there. It's kind of nice because the thrift stores where we live kind of get stale, and I've noticed that more and more of the flea markets and thrift shops around where we live have been closing. So it's nice to like get out of town and experience like a different place and different thrift stores and just kind of see the luck of the draw. Now, this is only the second book haul that I've ever posted on my channel, and there is a reason for that. The main one being that I don't like book hauls. I really feel that they're very consumerist and kind of almost classist, because not everyone can afford to go out and buy a stack of brand new books from Barnes & Noble this high and then show everyone their purchases. And it also doesn't really strike me as very original. Like, there's no sense of a hunt to it, in my opinion, and like digging for treasure, which is the feeling that I really enjoy from thrifting and looking for books. And I got all the books in this stack right here for less than $10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, I got these books for about $1 or less than $1 a piece. So I feel like it's a lot less consumerist. With all of that said, let's get into the actual haul. I'm gonna start off with the actual gem of this haul. It is called the Munchies Eatbook. And no, you cannot make this shit up if you tried. Or How to Satisfy the Hungries Without Eating Everything in Sight. It is by Alice and Eliot Hess, which is like this hippie couple. You can literally see a picture of them on the back. And what caught my eye about this immediately was the retro stripe design and then the bright yellow pages. As you can see, there's some really creative, trippy, just strange illustration. And me and Adam had a great time like flipping through this and just reading some of the stuff that like these people said. And initially I was like, I have to get this because I feel like it's so terrible. There was a section that I flipped to that was like all about dieting, and the advice was just god awful. Like, I couldn't believe this is actual advice. Okay, Watching Your Weight, chapter 6. I'm gonna read you guys a little bit. Hess hints for helping heavies. Adjust your bathroom scale to read 10 pounds heavier. You won't feel like eating so much. Eliminate all visions of sugar plums dancing in air. Close your eyes and cover your ears when food commercials appear on the television. Pursue a policy of non-involvement with your cookie jar. Remember how it feels to be heavy on your heels. I don't even know what that one means. And then it just like has recipes for a comforting cantaloupe. It just reminds me of this commercial I've been seeing like for some TV show. I don't know if it's Shrill or what the name of it was, but the girl's like, yeah, I feel so, she says something sarcastically about, yeah, I feel so satisfied.
Well, are you doing the almonds between meals?
Yeah, they're so satisfying. Sometimes when I have 6 almonds, I feel like I had 12 almonds.
Like, I'll insert the clip if I can find it, but it literally just reminds me of that with this like terrible like diet culture advice that I feel like you find in like women's magazines. But I mean, this is more of like a relic because it's legitimately from the 70's. It's a couple stoners just making up random combinations of shit and putting it into a cookbook. So it's cool for that factor, but kind of like it's a so bad it's good thing when it comes to like the diet advice in here. Like, that's not any shit that I would listen to. Like, I'm all about like, as long as you are eating well and exercising and, you know, doing that kind of shit, then you should not be worrying about your weight, because we are conditioned to, as women, to be like, oh, I need to be smaller, I need to take up less space, I need to blah, blah, blah. Nah, fuck that shit, because it's unrealistic expectations that have been created for us, and yeah, just fuck all that. So this is a gem though, like just the illustrations and like some of the recipes. Yeah, it's just, I was thinking maybe of reselling it, but now I'm kind of like just enjoying how strange it is, and we're thinking about maybe making a couple of recipes off here and vlogging it or doing something like that. So yeah, this was definitely the best find that I made that day. Okay, we got to keep it moving here. The next one is a little book called I Work at a Public Library, which obviously I couldn't resist picking up, as I've considered a career in like the library profession, being a librarian, things like that. I actually applied to work as a librarian. I did not get interviewed or hired or anything like that because you just need a certain amount of college credit to work at the library. In my town, you don't necessarily have to have a degree, but obviously they're probably going to pick people with degrees in library science first. It also doesn't really pay that well, so that's another reason that I kind of like quit considering it as a career. But anyways, this is a librarian from St. Louis named Gina Sheridan. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And I read this in the car on the way home. And this librarian basically just recounts funny conversations and events and happenings that kind of went on while she was working in a public library. And a lot of them are really pretty funny. This is like a fun, short, funny little book. But a lot of the things kind of reminded me of working in customer service at the very large Midwest convenience store chain that I used to work for. And a lot of people's stupid questions and just demanding things of you that are impossible for you to do. Like, a lot of it remind me of that. So it's like customer service flashbacks on one hand and having to like appease these people who just don't understand what your job is. And then on the other side, it's like, well, some of these requests are just so ridiculous and funny and like in good spirits. So yeah, this was a fun, quick little read. I'm probably going to go ahead and get rid of it, donate it to a book box or whatever, since I have already read it. Kind of a very short little excerpts, as you can see. And something kind of quirky that she does is kind of like, you know, when the author is on the spine and it's like last name first name, she kind of formats the titles of all the sections like that. So the little comma. So kind of cute. And she does some stuff in the like titles with call numbers and shit. All right, moving on. I don't really know what this is. I don't speak French. I think it's two plays. One's called the Misanthrope and the other one's Tartuffe, I think it's called. But anyways, I just picked this up seeing the word misanthrope and then kind of read an excerpt and was getting a kick out of it. Let me see if I can find the part that I read that really made me be like, I'm like trying to stop picking up classics because I've realized I hardly ever read them. But yeah, I kind of couldn't resist this one. My God, you ought to die of self-disgust. I call your conduct inexcusable, sir, and every man of honor will concur. I see you almost hug a man to death, exclaim for joy until you're out of breath, and supplement these loving demonstrations with endless offers, vows, and protestations. Then when I ask you who was that, I find that you can barely bring his name to mind. Once the man's back is turned, you cease to love him and speak with absolute indifference of him. By God, I say it's base and scandalous to falsify the heart affections thus. If I caught myself behaving in such a way, I'd hang myself for shame without delay. And if that isn't relatable content, I don't know what is. So I have no idea what these are. I should probably do some more like reading about it. But yeah, I'm into it. So we are moving on to a couple of sci-fi books. Yeah. So first up, we've got Planet of the Apes, which as soon as I picked this up, me and Adam kind of had a discussion. I had never seen the movie, so of course we immediately went and watched the movie, and what a great satire. And there's also a moment in that when this guy, like, the main character literally does this laugh that's just like, how is it not a meme? Yeah, just absolutely loved it. It's kind of like this backwards he goes to this backwards world where instead of humans being the dominant species, it's apes. And yeah, it just kind of goes from there. So what a great hypothetical. I fucking loved this. And short little novel too, so I bet I'll whip through this real fast. Next, I have a novel called Altered States by Paddy Chayefsky. And this apparently also got turned into a movie, but the reason I picked it up is because it kind of seems like basically an LSD like scare tactic or something. It says, the ultimate horror story, the story of one young scientist's terrifying experiment to find origins. Entombed, fed with a powerful hallucinogenic, he experiences finally the supreme moment of mind-chilling terror. So yeah, it's kind of funny because I was just talking about LSD and hallucinogens and psychedelics in my last video and all the scare tactics that were kind of deployed to keep people away from them. So I'm kind of curious to like see what the message or the big scary thing ends up being in this book. So yeah, this should be pretty hilarious. And then I picked up more Women of Wonder, science fiction novelettes by women about women. And it is edited by Pamela Sargent. So, of course, anything involving women, and especially like sci-fi anthologies, I don't really see any that are women focused just laying around. So obviously I had to kind of pick this up. As you can see from my bookmark, I kind of already read the introduction on this, and then it reminded me that I need to read Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, because that is like, she literally invented the science fiction genre, and I have not read her, and it's a fucking sin. So yeah, that needs to be done ASAP. Like, honestly, way overdue and shameful as a sci-fi fan and a feminist. So, but yeah, I'm really excited for this. It just kind of went over the history of women in sci-fi and how a lot of them had to write under like pen names or names that sounded male because the magazines didn't want to publish them, and they had to like change their stories and just do a lot of things to like kind of survive in the sci-fi genre. So yeah, I'm excited to just see some like vintage feminist sci-fi works. Moving on from the sci-fi, this was kind of completely unexpected because we were in a Salvation Army, which I try to avoid shopping there because they are super LGBTQ unfriendly and just like basically hate gay people. So I try not to spend my money there, but I did end up unexpectedly finding a lot of books on like just Black culture and Black interest. So I picked up From Slavery by Booker T. Washington. So I'm assuming this is kind of like his story, like the narrative of Frederick Douglass. And I actually know a whole lot about Booker T. Washington, so yeah, that'll be nice. I think a lot of these will be nice for next year's Blackathon. I also picked up Black and White, Stories of American Life, and you can see on the back it has a long list of authors. I noticed a lot of the authors on the back are white, and I am honestly, as I was flipping through it, like, look at this ridiculous cover, it's got like an eagle. But anyways, as I was flipping through it, it's kind of arranged by mood. So like there's sections on loneliness and isolation, the victim, humor and fantasy, death and victory. So I'm kind of thinking they're going to be like, okay, here's a story by a Black author that's about death. Here's a story by a white author that's about death. Everyone experiences death, you guys. It's going to be kind of like a all people are people and we're all just one, you know, the kind of kumbaya bullshit that I fucking hate. So we'll see. Adam kind of told me to get this anyway, even though I was debating putting it back because I don't want to get pissed off. But we'll just see what the commentary is like and just kind of go from there. But I am curious. The next thing was called The Black Poets, a new anthology edited by Dudley Randall. So I don't really know what this illustration of peacocks has to do with anything, but I'm pretty sure it's just an anthology of famous Black poets. So of course I wanted to go ahead and pick that up because, and I already saw Langston Hughes in here, and I absolutely adore him, really connect to a lot of his poetry, so yeah, this will be a nice one. And then I picked up this little, just very thin narrative of Sojourner Truth. Also don't know a whole lot about her, so kind of picked up a couple slave narratives and then just different things that I think will be great reads for when I get back into Black authors. Yeah, that is my book haul. Got literally this entire stack for under $10, so don't ever feel like, if you're a person who's not making a whole lot of money, that you can't afford to have books or get books or just don't belong on BookTube, because there's a lot of ways that you can find great books. It's more of a time investment to try to look through and find the books that you want, but there are ways to like find books, and pretty much my whole collection is like thrifted and used books. So I just really strongly believe that it's a great resource for people that don't have a whole lot of financial excess that they can devote to their book hobby. The library is also a great resource, obviously. Books are accessible, it's just I feel like BookTube makes it seem like the only way to be a booktuber is if you have a bookshelf full of brand new books behind you, somehow like backing up what you are saying, because you must be legit if you own a shelf full of books, right? You must know what you're talking about if you spend hundreds of dollars on books, right? But I don't feel like that's any place of authority, like that doesn't automatically give you like authority or mean that you know anything. Rant aside, that is everything I got while we were in Joplin this weekend. Let me know what you guys think. And also, like, if you've been picking up books lately, what have you picked up? Especially if you're a thrifter. I would love to know if you're a thrifter, because then we can totally like talk about our finds and shit. If you guys want more candid, no frills content about books and all things bookish, then go ahead and hit subscribe for me. And I'll see you guys next week with another video. Peace.